What's up, guys?
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back to the Air Fresheners. This is Steven and...
Kristina. I thought you were going to say bitch. He's been calling me bitch all day, so...
She told me she likes it. It's okay.
Yeah, because he called me babe, and I was like, no, I like bitch. So, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm Kristina.
I'm Steven. And
Welcome.
This is episode 19.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about how to deal with change.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I feel
a good
like
topic.
we are both in a transitional place in our
Yes.
lives.
Especially at this time of year, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like everybody is.
What's going on with you as far as change right now?
What's changing? I feel like my job title is kind of changing.
Okay.
Some of you know, I've worked at a golf course for 8 years since I was 18 years old.
I haven't stuck to anything for longer than like 3 years, so good for you.
I'm committed
Yeah.
to selling beer. And yeah, they've cut my hours recently, and I don't like how I'm being treated there, so I think it's about time to head out. And the reason why I feel that way is just because it's been really difficult to deal with, and I feel like when anything is supposed to be, it shouldn't have to be this like difficult energy that you deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't have to feel like stressful
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Shouldn't
I think
be
we talked
resistance
about that
for
before.
sure.
Yeah. The resistance is like so high now that I think it's time to just kind of trust the process and know that it's time to let go to make space for something else. And
Especially after 8 years.
yeah.
That's such a long... I can't imagine being with anything for 8 years.
I know.
That's wild.
It's a long time.
Most marriages don't make it past 7 years.
Whoa, really?
That's the average. That's the average statistic.
That actually like makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm
So
a reliable bitch.
8 years after golf course. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I like it. I like being outside. I like talking to people, but I don't know. Something else is in the works, so
Yeah.
it's all good things. I think what I'm building to with photography is definitely more of my path and not just like a dead-end job
Mhm.
kind of. So it's time to let go.
Time to let go. Time to let the change happen. Because the change is
Yeah.
going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. That's
If
what
you
you were
fight
talking
the change,
about.
it's just going to be more resistance. It's going to be harder for the change to happen, and it might not be as pretty as you want it to be if you don't just accept it and let it flow.
Right.
Like do its thing.
Like when you avoid change, it's like, oh, let me distract myself. Let me do something so this goes away, but it really doesn't. You kind of have to address that shit at some point.
Yeah.
How about you? What's something you're transitioning out of?
Right now I'm actually going through like probably one of the biggest transitions like in my life ever, but it feels so effortless and like smooth right now. So I've been bartending for a little while now, and I love my job. It's a great job. I love the people I work with, and I fucking love bartending. Like it's so much fun. It's like such a good job for like my personality. So I got a call from a good friend and asked me if I wanted to take this job because someone that works for him was like stepping down, and this is like a big boy job. So, and it's like
The
kind
big
of
boys now.
Yeah. And it's like getting my foot into a path that like I kind of have always been wanting to go into for like the rest of my life. So I'm in the process of leaving my job and getting trained into doing this new job. And it's intimidating, but at the same time, like I'm nowhere near as intimidated as I thought I would be.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. And I was telling you earlier, my favorite quote of all time is like, change is the only constant. Like everything is always growing, dying, changing. Like nothing is ever staying the same. And every time something changes and something gets mixed up, like I love it. Like even if it's not good, I just like the constant change. Just I love the wheels to just keep on turning. I hate like being stuck in one spot and staying still. So I'm excited for this to happen, and like bigger job, more money, like more possibilities, more things that can like take place in my life and happen. So
And like working from home or getting to like work wherever is going to be
Yeah.
so nice for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Dang.
Absolutely.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like having that mindset with change is so important too, to let yourself grow, and like as you get older being like easier about that. It's like the not having that resistance against like new things makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
Because like I know like quite a few older people that are really like they're really difficult with change. Like they have a hard time like adapting to anything new. So I don't know, you almost make it like harder for yourself if you're not like, okay, I'm going to accept and like trust that this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know? But it is hard, like it is easier said than done. Like sometimes it is really difficult to be like, is this going to be okay? Because like that's what I'm dealing with, is like I'm at this like crossroad of like, do I stick with what I know in a job that's been comfortable for 8 years, or do I trust that this is going to potentially, actually I know it'll make me more money in the long run, it's just about committing to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like putting my full energy in it, because as long as I've had the golf course, I've never had to make like photography my full income. In a way, I haven't had to put like 120% into it. But that was also because I was like respecting the creative process as well. So now I'm like in something with photography that's more for a job, with like real estate and, you know, interior and architecture and things like that. So like that is a job within photography that I don't have to be like overwhelmingly like pressured to be creative all the time. So
that's great.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah,
both like really positive things, and I think we'll look back at this time in like 6 months or the end of the year, whenever, and be like, yeah, that was just like phasing out of something else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like every moment in my life that I've looked back on and like a significant change has like happened, even if in the moment or like the few like months or like the few days that like that initial change happened and it wasn't comfortable, in the long run it's always like worked out for the better.
Really?
So like the most uncomfortable transitions I've had to make, or like the like leaving previous jobs and like moving somewhere new, like it's always ended up like, looking back on it now, I'm like, wow, if that didn't happen, I can't even imagine where I'd be today. So
yeah,
I think like no matter what, as long as you have a positive mindset about it, like it's always going to work out for the better. Always. Right. It's pretty hard to go backwards if you're positive about it, and if you let whatever is going to come to you with an open mind. That's
true, because it's like things are going to change anyway. It's just about like your personality and how you choose to deal with it. Like you are in control of how difficult it's going to be to change.
Yeah.
And that's something I don't think people realize, or at least I didn't for a long time. Like I can either resist something happening. Like a few years ago, my parents separated after 31 years. And like, do I resist those feelings that I was having, or like just even being sad that they were together that long and then decided to not be together? You know, like you can't resist something changing. Like that was a change for both of them, and it sucked, but at the same time it was like, this sucks right now, and it sucked for a few months, but now I've both never seen them more independent in themselves. So, you know, in the long run, it made the most sense for them to not be together. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, things like that are weird when it comes to like family. I don't know, it's just like we're just so like naturally driven by what happens, like with our parents or like siblings. It's because like that's just your core, you know? So I mean, maybe some people aren't, but I feel like I'm pretty close with my family, so they've always had like an emotional like effect on me. If something's happening with them, like I almost take on their like pain or whatever they're going through.
Yeah, it's hard not to, especially like when you're close with like your family and everything. Like you want the people that are like the closest to you, that mean the most to you, to like feel good. So like if like my mom's not happy or something like that, like I definitely want to put myself in a position to where I can either make her feel better, or at least like help her like absorb some of like you know what she's going through. But another thing I wanted to touch on, though, you mentioned it earlier, was like older people that are like super stuck in their way, and like they're so like against change. And like a lot of people, like they'll say like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I think like over the years and years and years of like doing the same exact thing over and over and over again, and like finding comfort in like a routine, and like just an example of like buying a house, having a job, working your way up in that job, and never doing anything else, like never deviating off that path. Like when change does come your way, it's the most uncomfortable thing ever, because you've been comfortable for so long. And I feel like that is a huge problem with not all, but most older people, as they just get so fixed. Like their mind just gets so fixed on like doing something a certain way. From
they do.
A certain age, they're just like, this is how I want it to be until the day I die. don't want anything to change. I want to have the same routine. And it's just like, it's kind of scary to think that like one day that mindset like might be like a thing. But
but it's like, I feel like the generation that's like, that's what retirement is, right?
Yeah.
You get to live in this house and golf every day. And like, that's just one generation though. That's retiring that way.
Yeah.
And that's the generation that did work a job for 50 years or 40 years. So of course they want to do the same shit every day because they just lived their entire life having the same job. And there's like baby boomers or whatever, their stability is founded in that routine. But like life has changed so much. Like for our generation, I mean, one, we probably won't ever retire. But two, I think that like we don't find comfort in routine because like that's never been something for us, I guess. Like, or I don't know, just like routine is like something that we all deal with or whatever, or need to have, but like doing the same shit every day, like, I don't know, I just think it's gonna be different.
Yeah. I wonder too, like what it's gonna be like when like the TikTok generation retires. Like,
the world will be long gone before then.
That's true. But like all these generations that are like coming up, and like so much is changing from like our parents' generation to like our generation to like my brother's generation to like the next generation after that.
Yeah.
And it seems like everything's changing like 2 or 3 times faster than it was before.
Than it ever has.
Like
yeah.
technology's evolving, all these things are evolving. So it's like how much is gonna be different by the time we're older. And like it makes me think like when I'm 40, 50 years old, am I going to be that old person that's like back in my day we didn't even have it? Like,
I mean, I already do that. Like when I was in high school, we didn't have Instagram, and like girls I shoot with that are like seniors, they're like,
I can't even imagine what that's going to be like in like, I wonder what the Instagram is going to be like in like 30 years, but
I don't know if it's going to be around that much longer. Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be something's going to be going on.
Yeah.
Some crazy like hologram technology, like virtual reality. Maybe we'll be plugged into the Matrix by that time or something.
Whoa, that'd be so cool. Like some Black Mirror shit.
Yeah.
Dang. I mean, this does have like, I feel like the internet and like just like online culture in general has so much to do with like how fast life changes now.
Yeah.
Like, even if you just think of like news, how fast like things are communicated now. It's just so nuts. Like it has changed the world like completely.
Yeah.
And I think we go through all of these like phases so much faster than it's ever been before. Even like things with COVID, it's just like no one believes anything is like real at this point.
Anything, literally anything I'm told, I'm just like, I don't know if I believe that.
We don't even care.
I'll
it's
keep
just
it
like,
in my mind, but I don't think I believe that.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Interesting. Times are changing. Times are definitely changing.
Times are changing. That's what we should name this podcast episode.
Times are changing. Is there ever been any time that you have been in a situation where you
go ahead,
where you know like you can't control something and you just kind of accept it and like flow with it, like when you just like had an aha moment, like wow, there's nothing I can do about this, but I'm just gonna roll with the punches? You think that's like a pretty common thing for you to like get into that mindset?
Lately, yeah.
Okay.
I've noticed after so many times of trying to have control that like just letting it go makes life a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
And I think like one thing that has helped me with that is traveling, is because like shit has gone wrong so many times, like just because it's something spontaneous and you're not really prepared for like the worst or whatever. Like a good example is I was on a road trip like 3 years ago and we got in a car accident. And my friend that we were with, we had her mom's car. So we got in an accident with her mom's car across the country.
Don't
so
expect
it's like,
that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now we're not getting home by like driving home.
Yeah.
So like that was something we had to accept. Like I was running out of money and like I couldn't stay like across the country anymore. So like we both had to fly home separately. So like that's just something like that has made me, that was one of the first times where I was like, this didn't go the way I planned and I have to fully accept like this situation, because there was nothing I could do to like change that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think traveling and just being open to shit happening has made me more like adaptable, if that makes sense.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like that like the people that I talk to that have traveled, it seems like they are so much more open to just like change and like flexibility and everything, because like you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be with that. Like people will plan out like this perfect trip and think everything's going to be perfect. People plan out their whole life and they think everything's going to be perfect, but like no one has any idea how many forks in the road are actually going to come up. And like even only being 24, like the amount of things that have been thrown my way that I never could have even expected in my wildest dreams, like just have to accept that like things are going to come in, shake things up and change things all the time. You can just
because
never
it's like
it.
You don't have control over like what's going to happen in the future. I think I was telling you about this, but the new Joe Rogan episode that's like up this week or whatever was with Kevin Hart, and like Kevin Hart gets into like his whole accident, like the car accident that he almost died in like last year. I think it was like last year in like September or something. And he talks about like how like he realized that he has no control over what's about to happen in his life. He's like, I am not in charge with this. Like it completely changed his whole mindset, because he's like, I wasn't even supposed to live. So it's like, he woke up to like so many different like parts of his life, like prioritizing his family and things like that. He was just like, I can't believe I took advantage of like so many days before this happened, because it's like there is no knowing what's going to happen. Like the fact that he thought he was in control, he's like, that was the biggest reason that I think that I had to get in that accident, was for me to like wake up that like nothing is promised.
Yeah,
you know?
That's pretty profound.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I feel like a lot of conversations like that can be like so cliche, like you don't know if you have tomorrow or whatever, but like
and then
it's
when it
really
actually
deep.
happens, it's like,
yeah.
I understand why people said that now.
Right. Or if like, you know, if you've dealt with any sort of like crazy accident, or like knowing someone that does die in a car accident, you realize like you don't know what's going to happen, you know? So
and like even on a smaller scale, I know it's not the equivalent of it getting in like a life-changing accident, but like even throughout the whole like coronavirus thing, like seeing how much is like unexpected and like you just don't know what's going to happen. Like me and my roommate, we're literally so happy and so grateful to be back in a gym, and like we feel like we're never going to take the gym for granted again.
Yeah.
And like just being able to just go out and just like say hi and like sit down and like have a drink with your friends, like for all we know, like we could have been locked up in our apartments for the rest of the year or something like that. We don't know. So like there's so many unexpected things, and like when that type of stuff gets taken away from you and you get put in a position like that, it makes you realize like how grateful that you are to actually have the ability to do something so simple and small like all the time.
That's true. I feel like COVID kind of was maybe the purpose of this happening was for people to start like realizing what their lives were. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this was such an awakening period for so many people. Like the whole world came to a stop. You know what I mean? So it's like you're saying, like not taking advantage, or, you know, for the gym, like there's certain things now that we can look back at this time and be like, oh, remember when we didn't have that? And I don't know if it's going to like last like too long. Like once this becomes normal again, I wonder if people will still feel like thankful for like normal day-to-day things. But I don't know. I think it made people think differently, like that all of these things that we do have are just not like promised. Yeah. Even just living here and being able to go to the gym and like have a grocery store that has like everything that you could possibly want. Like just to think that like we've always just assumed that's normal. Like it just blows my mind, because there's people in this world that have never seen, you know, like sliding glass doors or like automatic doors. You know what I mean? It's just like there's things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that are so evolved for a lot of people like in the world. Yeah. You know?
And we've totally got like the best of all of that stuff. And like I can't even begin to imagine what it would have been like if we didn't have the grocery stores open like throughout this. Like that,
what the fuck would have
happened? That would have been like the worst case scenario. Like can't eat, can't make money, we can't pay rent, we can't do anything like that. Like But at the same time, though, it's like everyone's in the same situation then.
Right.
So it's like I feel like if something like that would happen, like the world would change in such a big way because we would all be forced to come together as one instead of always fighting each other about like who's right, who's wrong, who's on this side, who's on that side. Now it's like as a race of human beings, what can we do to survive and like make this right? So
nuts. I wonder if we'll see that in our lifetime.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I'm sure. Yeah, at how fast everything's changing and evolving.
Yeah, we will.
I'm sure.
That'll be so nuts.
When wave 2 hits.
Fall 2020.
Yeah, coming soon to a theater near you.
No Publix will be open.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah. Knock on wood. Yeah, that won't happen.
On wood. I don't even know if this is real wood.
It's wood. No, it's not. Is it not real wood?
It might be. I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah. I
had another point I wanted to talk about. Do you feel the reason why I am asking you this question is because actually I'm going to ask you the question. Okay. Do you feel like there's certain times of the year that you notice change?
Yes.
Like consistently?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say like this time of year would be a really good time for there to be a lot of like chaos, but like building of like new things and like new transitions.
Gemini season.
Gemini season. But like when like it's starting to get warmer, it's starting to get hotter, everyone's getting that like summertime vibe, everyone wants to go out,
energy,
having fun, like a lot of high energy. And then like around like December, like the winter time, everyone starts to like relax a little bit more and everyone wants to sit inside and like drink hot chocolate and like eat food and like bake things and like just like sit down and just chill. So I feel like seasons are not only like weather, but seasons are also like emotions and like how it affects our personalities.
It's biological for sure. Like even if you look at how plants grow, like how are we not the same? Yeah. Like we work on that same cycle.
Absolutely.
So nuts.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of change that comes with like the time of the year as it comes in, and then on even deeper levels of like astrology, like going by like the moon cycles and all the stuff like that. Like there's so much stuff that's just happening with like the seasons and just there's a lot of stuff that's affected by the time of the year for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you look, like you said with astrology, if you look at different moon cycles, you start to notice that everybody is biologically already set up from that system. Like your body is reacting to seasons without you even noticing it.
Yeah.
That's like seasonal depression.
Yeah. And then like the whole like the group herd thing. So like if one person is doing something in like the winter time and like for example Christmas time, like it's same thing. Like everyone's buying.
I'm sorry, I
love that time of year. I love that time of year.
You do? Yeah. I think it's chaos.
Yeah. Well, I like it because it's like it's cold outside. It's nice outside. Like I can bundle up. I can wear a pea coat. Like
Where do you live?
For like 1 week out of the year in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like. I don't know. Everyone's just like collectively like wants to just like sit outside and like have a fire and like drink eggnog and like make all these things. And it's just like when one person's doing it, it just sounds so good. But then as soon as like someone's like, it's warming up, let's go hit the beach, let's go out, let's have some fun.
At the beach, yeah.
It's I don't know. It's just a big group thing for sure.
It is. Because you see one person do it, and you're like, ooh, I want to do that.
You don't see someone sitting inside in the middle of summer drinking eggnog and, like, watching Christmas. I mean, maybe watching Christmas movies, but I don't know.
It's not, it doesn't fit at all.
It's a seasonal thing for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's my opinion on that, so.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense because I think it just has to do with, like, the biological, like, sense of life, too.
Yeah.
You know, like, everything is like like you said, like everything is constantly changing, but when like massive change starts to happen, I feel like your body's like preparing for it, or even like creating stress, or if you're overthinking something, like that's how I kind of know something is changing, is that I can't stop thinking about it and I like exhaust myself with trying to figure out what it's going to be. But yeah, like letting go is just such a technique that like is easier said than done, because some days I'm like so frustrated and I don't want to just like trust that it's gonna be fine, you know what I mean? Because you really don't know sometimes.
Unpredictable.
It is. I don't know how I feel. Like sometimes I'm really like ready for change. It just depends on what it is. I think I've gotten better. Again, like I think I'm more adaptable than I've ever been before, but like sometimes depending on what it is, I like really am stubborn, and
yeah,
it's all that
I can
fixed
see that
energy.
sometimes,
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I don't know. And I really do know. It's just that I also don't like confronting change.
Mm-hmm.
I am so bad at that. Like confronting that something needs to change, I make it out to be this like bigger thing in my head.
When really all you have to do is just say like 2 sentences and it's
yeah,
totally
and I just
fine.
have to express how I feel.
I'm with you on that 100%.
I don't know why we avoid it.
Confrontation. We're both just like
we
so
hate
passive.
confrontation.
Yeah, just,
Maybe we shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
People will try to argue with us, and
I
we'll just
mean,
be like, "It's fine."
Yeah, we'll still avoid the confrontation even if they confront us.
Yeah, we might even just ignore it.
I feel like we're masters of avoiding it. So
Yeah.
but
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't mind it though, because I never get in arguments with anyone anymore. I'm not like mad. I'm not on anyone's bad side for the most part. So it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of easy because like I've got my own little world that I follow through, and like if I'm being passive, like I get to keep on doing my own little world.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I need to be like aggressive, like I can be, but 99% of the time I'm passive, and it works.
Yeah.
Makes life very smooth.
It does.
Very smooth.
Instead of like arguing about like every little
Yeah.
thing. I can't stand people like that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's the worst.
But
Well, do you have anything else you want to
I
say?
think that's about it. I think that pretty much covers a good basis for change, and I think it was appropriate based off of the fact that we're both going through a lot of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
I feel like if there's one thing I've taken away from just like dealing with change, it's to take yourself out of the situation. Like if you're like floating like above your situation,
Mm-hmm.
and look at the perspectives, because like you're always kind of leaning towards one anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you really like think about it, you know you want to do one more than the other.
Yeah.
That's our timer. But yeah, just kind of like evaluating it from both sides
Mm-hmm.
to be able to decide. So
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally agreed.
this was great.
It was always great.
It's always
Thanks for
great.
listening, guys.
Thank you.
We'll
Bye.
see you next week.